Hello and welcome to the Graphics channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a gaming thumbnail for your videos. So, first thing you need to do is click File, New, and set the width and height in pixels to 1280 by 720 and click OK. So we start with the blank canvas. So the first thing we need to do is add a background image for our thumbnail. So I've already got some saved in the sources. Remember, these are always in the description below, so you can download those if you want these files. So go to File, Place, and then choose your background image. And I'm going to use this Overwatch one. I'm going to make this Overwatch theme today, as it's a gaming one. So I've got this sort of screenshot of Soldier 76 in action. So I'm just going to place that, and as usual just stretch the image out, holding the corner, holding shift and just dragging it out so that it fits the whole screen. When you've got it right, just press enter on your keyboard and it sets the image. So next up, I need to add some more features. I'm going to go to Place again, File, Place, and I'm going to add this Overwatch logo that I found. All these images are from Google, so just have a search for whatever sort of game you're looking for, and just pick your images and just save them, and so you can import them in. Press enter to place the image, right click on it to rasterize the layer. Now I'm going to use the magic wand tool. So it's this one here, it's the fourth one down. Just right click it if you don't see the magic wand by default. I'm going to click the white space and press delete on my keyboard. So that's deleted all the white space around, and I've got this grey here, but it doesn't really pop out, so I kind of want to make it white just to bring it out a little bit more. So I'll select that, choose my paint bucket tool, change the foreground colour to white, and just click inside it. Press Ctrl D on my keyboard, and there we go. Now we can see it. So if I select my move tool again, I'm going to click that and drag the corner. So we're just going to reduce the size down and move it over. And there we go. Cool. So I'm actually going to there we go. Press enter on that. So now I'm going to go to File, Place again and go back to my source files. I'm going to grab my Soldier 76 that I have here. Like before, I'm going to press enter. I'm going to right click on that image and click rasterize layer. I'm going to choose my wand tool. I'm going to click the grey space and press delete on my keyboard. Same again for these little patches here. Now this isn't too important because most of these images are actually going to be seen very small, so it will be sort of that sort of size, in the sidebar, so no one's really going to see these tiny differences. But whilst we're there, we may as well do it. It only takes a few moments. Talking of which, I've noticed there's a white line there. That's going to bug me if I don't delete it, so I'm going to use my eraser tool, make sure I've got my logo section highlighted in the layer panel, hit Ctrl D just to remove any selections that I have. I'm just going to run my eraser over that line just so that it's gone. There we go. Cool. So now I'm going to grab my Soldier 76, select the move icon again. I'm just going to resize him a little bit and move him over. Cool. So now we need to add some text. I'm going to add in, as it's a gaming video, I'm going to put top 10 kills. Now my spacing and sizing's all over the place at the moment, so I'm going to bring my size right up. Let's go a bit more. We want this text to be nice and big so that it stands out in the side panel. And again, throughout the video, if you just hold Alt and scroll on your little mouse, you can see what sort of size that is. So we want that to be big enough so we can see it, and that looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to highlight this 10 here, and I'm going to choose the orange from over here just to make it stand out a little bit more. And I may as well do the exclamation mark as well. just to give it a little bit of something. I'm just going to increase the spacing on these a little bit. So I'm going to select all my text and just drag that along, just to separate the two a little bit more. Cool. Now, the last thing I'm going to import was, you guessed it, was the crosshairs. So we had that in the source folder as well. I'm going to resize that a little bit first, like before, holding shift the whole time. And I'm just going to move it over the target there. That soldier's trying to shoot in the background. I'm going to resize that a little bit more, it's a bit too big. I'm going to zoom out just so I can see what that looks like. Cool, that'll do. So I don't like this red, so I'm going to use my blending options to change that. You can use the paint bucket tool like we did before, or you can use the color overlay here. So that's the one with the color overlay. I'm also going to add a stroke. You see it's added this black sort of line on the outside. It's made it a bit too chunky. You know, you can reduce this size, but what I want to actually do is flip that round so that we've got the stroke on the inside. So it reduces the size of our crosshair. Now I'm going to reduce the size of the stroke, and there we go. So now we can see it quite clearly, and there it is. So now I'm also going to add a drop shadow. I'm going to change the blend mode to normal, increase the opacity, increase the spread a little bit, and reduce the distance. Cool. So now I'm going to do the same thing but on my text. So I'm going to add a drop shadow, change the blend mode again to 100, increase the spread. I really want this to pop out, and reduce the distance just a tiny bit, reduce the size just a tiny bit, and also going to add a stroke. Put my stroke on about 13, yeah. I'm happy with that. So now that I've applied that there, I want to apply that across my other two things that I have on the screen as well. So I'm going to right click top 10 skills and click copy layer style. Then I'm going to click on my soldier layer, hold control and click on my Overwatch logo as well. So right click on both of those, get paste layer style. There we go. So now we've got this annoying black line on the bottom. So that means that I didn't quite cut out my image properly. So I've just got my eraser tool selected. You can make this a little bit larger and increase the hardness so that it doesn't fan out. I'm just going to run it along the edge and just delete the excess that was there. And that's got rid of that. So on my soldier image, you know, he looks pretty cool. He's got his stroke on there. But what I'm going to actually do is go into blending options again and give him a bit of a glow. I think it needs a little something more. So I'm going to change the blend mode to normal, increase the opacity, and I'm going to use this paint dropper to choose the orange that we had before. Increase the spread, increase the size. Now our shadow's almost disappeared, so I'm going to make that a little bit larger. Let's get the distance, a bit more spread. And there we go. Now if I hold Alt and zoom out again, there we go. So that's roughly what it looked like. So you can see quite clearly top 10 kills, and then you've got soldier over the top. You've got the crosshair for the kills. You can see that it's Overwatch because you've got the Overwatch logo on the screen. So one last little thing that I'm going to do is just make this background image a little bit darker, just so that everything else that sits on top just pops out. So I'm going to go into, I'm going to have to rasterize it first. So right click on the layer, click rasterize, and go image, adjustments, hue and saturation. Now you can just use brightness and contrast, but I like going in here just in case I fancy changing the colors as well. So I'm going to reduce that background image a little bit. I'm going to drop the saturation down to remove some of the color, not all of it, but just some, because we just want everything else that sits on top to really pop out and catch the person's attention. And there we go. So that is our gaming thumbnail. So that's roughly what it looked like in the sidebar on a tablet, and then on TV, something like that. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I wouldn't want to add too much more. You know, you want to keep your thumbnails down to a reasonable size when you're sort of making them. You don't want to spend hours on a thumbnail. They're just small little tiny thumbs just to capture people's attention. So something like that. It's quite simple, but yet it's really effective. And that's the end. So in the description below, you'll find all the source files, even this finished article, so you can use it. Go into Photoshop and just change the titles if you're making Overwatch videos. So, and if you would like another tutorial like this one, just go into the comments below, just type in what sort of tutorial you want, and I'll get that video to you. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Cheers.